So this was my original inspiration for the project. I wanted some cute nesting tables, all black, but your girl is not paying that price. So I decided to make them myself. I bought these pipes from Home Depot. I don't remember the exact measurements, but this is me marking like where I'm gonna cut them at. Then I used my circular saw to actually cut them. It was a little tricky using the saw because it didn't go through it fully. Like it wasn't big enough to cut the whole thing all at once. So I had to do this like spin move kind of thing. And that didn't turn out too well, but I eventually got it together. I actually tried to use a handsaw on this to try to get like a cleaner cut, but that was taking way too long, so I just went back to my regular saw. It can be done with the handsaw, it's just gonna take much longer. Now I'm gonna use my sander to smooth out those raw edges and also try to make them a little more even with each other. Because those cuts, yeah. This is how they look after being evened out. I actually didn't plan on sanding the pipe down, but the guy at the store recommended that I do this so the paint will stick better, the primer and the paint. I think it helped. I don't know.
Get down. Get down.
This is the primer I was talking about before. The guy said that the primer is supposed to help the paint stick to the actual pipe, and I think it worked. I'm really not sure. Supposedly it's hard for paint to stick to pipes because of the material it's made of, which I could see that being true. So sanding and priming are recommended in order to paint a pipe. For the tops of the tables, I got these wooden rounds from Home Depot as well. I'm just gonna do the same thing to them, paint them black. It's just wood, so I don't actually need to prime it. I did sand them off camera, just like a light little sand. Then I just painted them. I actually had a little dilemma while painting these because I could not get rid of those brush strokes. So in the future, I'm probably gonna use like a paint roller or just something else that's not a paintbrush, but I could not get rid of the brush strokes. So I had to sand them, paint it again, sand it, paint it again. It was actually a pretty long process because it takes so long to dry. So this took me like probably like a few days until it was actually ready. Also, for whatever reason, on the last round of paint that I did, I mixed the paint with some water. Don't ask me why I did that, but I did like the way it turned out. I think I did it to combat the brush strokes somehow, and it did cover them up, but it just turned into a completely different thing, which I'm not mad at. This is how it looked after everything dried. Now you can see like the mixture of water and paint and what it turns into, kind of like this cracked looking thing. I think it looks pretty cool. At first I used this silicone to attach the legs to the top, but for some reason that silicone did not hold. I'm just showing you the process, but use something else. I actually ended up using some Gorilla Glue to keep the legs attached to the top because they were all just falling off. It was insane. I'm also putting these little pieces of wood on top of the legs because they weren't as even as I thought. So I'm using the little pieces of wood to like basically make them even. And I did that on both of the tables. Another adjustment that I made was I ended up spreading the legs out a little more.
That's what she said.
Kind of putting them closer to the edges of the top of the table because them being that close just made the table so unsturdy. And plus I have a cat, he likes to jump on things, and him jumping on that table was causing it to fall over every single time. So spreading it out definitely solved my problem. They were way more sturdy after I did that. This is how they turned out after everything, and I actually really love them. Looking back, this was actually a fairly simple project. I just had a few minor discrepancies along the way, but overall, pretty simple, and I love the result. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like and or a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, bye.